good evening, or maybe good morning, good Sunday morning, because it's just about Sunday morning, late in the day. But we have your cash problems for Monday's practice final exam. These are a little shorter because it's just for 40 minutes, but just to try to give you a head start. I'm not emailing the templates. I'm not emailing the questions. I'm not doing any of that stuff. Closed book, closed note, all that. But we're doing this video, so hopefully this will help you out. So let's get to the spreadsheet. Well, the other section took about a half hour, so let's hopefully we do something similar. Okay, so first question for the cash sections, which are the morning sections. So everybody's got to come on May 6th. And for the EC 252 group, which is the you guys are supposed to have your exam on the 9th of May, we're going to move that where if you're in the intermediate macroeconomics section, you have an option of the 13th or the 15th. I'll let you come to any, and I'm there for 4 exams. 9 a.m. and 12 on the 13th, and 9 a.m. and 12 on the 15th. If you're in 252, you can come to any of those. Now, if you're in corporate finance and 252, you've got to take both exams, and they're going to be different exams. But for the practice, all the morning sections have the same. So if you're in multiple sections for Finance 401 or EC 252, if you're in multiple sections, just come for one exam on the 6th. But on the 13th or the 15th, if you're in 401, there's a number of people who are in both those sections. You've got to come for both exams. I mean, you can come on the same day, but you'll be taking 2 exams if you want, but not, and they're not going to be the same. Okay, so just keep that in mind. But you do, like I said, that's up to you. You have 4 choices. I don't want any complications with anything. Those are the days. I'm there from 9 till 2 or so. You should figure it out. One way or another, you should figure out how to find me and how to schedule all this. And it's got to be the same room. It's got to be McDermott 304. Okay, folks, please make this simple, and we'll all get on with what we're doing here. So, number 1, a bank may issue a credit memorandum. And again, like I like to do so many times, I like to go over, why some of the other choices aren't the answer and why collection of note receivable is the answer. When you have a bank account, and I put it right here, this, if you guys remember this from probably sometime in the fall or whenever you took some of the initial accounting chapters with me, $20,000 is on the credit side. That goes into the bank account. I also have it on the spreadsheet here. And eventually I'll send this out, but not before Monday. It'll be after Monday. And again, if you miss Monday, there's no makeups, there's no take home, there's nothing like that. It's probably going to be like 10% of the grade, something like that. So anyway, these are just examples. So the capital comes in on the credit side and it leaves on the debit side for your bank account. So just keep that in mind. That's how it works. So cost of printing checks, debit. Not sufficient funds, debit. Bank service charge, debit. Those are all debits. So the credit, and they're not necessarily a memorandum, but a note receivable has a little bit of an explanation. There's interest, there's a fee. So there's a couple pieces to that. Okay, but that's the answer to that. McCrinna's company, and I built the reconciliation model for you guys when you have balance per bank, but it's a little confusing in the way the book uses, or these questions are sort of worded, because it's a different person. It's not the guys who wrote the textbook who wrote these questions. I always make the joke it's some guy at the University of Montana or something, or Idaho or whatever. And it is. It's somebody way out there who's, doing this is to show, I guess, their academic activity. So, sometimes use a little bit different words sometimes. But for 140, let's see how I have it. Actually, I reconciled everything and got the same answer. The cash balance per bank and for bank statement, cash balance for books, I got the same answer for both. And yeah, looking at the answer, certainly you're reducing. You didn't collect a note receivable. There was no interest earned. There was none of those add-ins. There was no error that needed to be added back. So the only changes, according to your books, is that there was a not sufficient funds check, which you thought went in, and you had now has to be deleted or deducted because it's not not deposited in your account. And there was a service charge that came out that you maybe didn't know about. Okay, so again, let's read this. It says balance per bank 11,460. There were some outstanding checks. There's some deposit. There's some inbound cash, some outstanding checks that are going to be deducted. Okay, so you have that 2 and 3,000 that's being added in. So it's 3,750 is being added in, 2,352 is being subtracted. So if you look at what happened here, you subtract out the outstanding checks and you added in the deposits in transit. You get 12,885. Here, cash balance per books. Yeah, it says cash. Okay, so this is now as a result of this reconciliation, the cash account or the books account is deducted 315, and that 315 comes from this. The 240 plus the 75 is 315. Yeah. Okay. That's how we got up. That was 140. So reduce cash account by 315. Okay, we did that one. And yes, I put it here again. I'll eventually send this out, but not. You have to take the exam. And like I said, there's no makeups. If you miss it, you miss it. I'm just going to lose the credit for it, and that's it. Because I can't. There's too much moving around to stuff. You got to be able to deliver. I'm not helping you if we're not working like that, because the world's a harsh place, and you got to be able to deliver. You could be doing the right thing, and there still could be problems, believe it or not. So, that's just something to keep in mind. But you're with all the different things that you do. Yeah, folks, I'm just looking through here. Yeah, there's a couple spots where there was a little mistake here and there. I missed a T in outstanding. I think I fixed it all for next time we use these models, which is probably going to be never, because I'm always changing what we're doing, but I fixed it for now. So, all right. But that's how the reconciliation works. Okay, so you're reducing the cash account by $315. Yeah, this next one, it says Winter Gloves Company has checks outstanding totaling six. So in May there's 6,400 checks outstanding, and then there's June there's another 39,900 checks issued. So you add those up, whatever that number is, and it says that the July statement shows 35,700 cleared. So that's even less than the 39,000. Never mind adding another 6. So just from there, that's 45,000. 46,300 is the total outstanding, and then you subtract the what's cleared, which is 35,700, and you're left with outstanding checks of 10,600, which is C. So 6,400, 39,900 minus 35,700, and we did it here. This was 129, right? So this was all just we just did the math for you in Excel. Okay, so you take a look at that, and I think 140 is the magic font size that's pretty good. Again, my screen resolution is pretty good, but if you don't have as great of a screen, you're going to have a little trouble with this. If a check is correctly written and paid by the bank for 418, but the person records it as 481, there's a $63 overdraw that needs to be added back. So you think that 481 is coming, or at least you wrote that 481 is coming out of account, but there's only 418, so you have to add back 63. Okay, the treatment on the bank reconciliation would be to add back to the books balances. It was 63 was too much overdeducted. Correct by adding back the $63. A little broken English version of that. 116 is a tricky one. It has March and then April. So you're doing 2 of these, believe it or not. So so for the March number, the bank statement is 37,200. 6,300 is inbound. 8,600 is outbound. Okay, so you're left with 34,900, which is right there. That's the beginning spot for the next month. There it is right there, 34,900. There's another 46,700 inbound. There's 2 outstanding checks of 49,700 or amounts, and then 6,000 has to be subtracted. So looking at this, it says outstanding checks, fine, and then disbursements. 49,700. That goes with the checks outstanding, and your adjusted cash balance for the bank sheet is 25,900, which is A. Okay, and like I said, I also did it here in Excel. I did them sort of right next to one another. Okay, so this is where there was 2 of them. Okay, the March ending March and then the ending April. Okay, we have all that. Trudy. We're up to 114, and it says bank reconciliation balance per bank is 27,280. not sufficient funds. The cash has got to be because you assumed that it was deducted, but or you assumed it was yeah, you assumed it was deposit because it's not sufficient funds. Someone's giving you the check, you assume 900 went in, but it did not, so you're backing it out. Deposit and trends are 7,000. Another set of outstanding checks 10,400. There's a service charge. Okay, so you have all those pieces for 114. So yeah, you start with 27,280. 7,000 gets added in. 10,400 is subtracted. Okay. You should get 22,880, which is the answer. That's D. That's the cash balance according to the bank. Now, you don't have the starting point for the book, so even though you have not sufficient funds and the service charge, you have 940 deductions, but you don't have the starting point, so you can't use this. So this doesn't really mean much. Okay. There's 114. 111. Yeah, this is just the book's version of this, and this was a little bit of a complicated one. 111. So let's look at how 111 shook out. You started with 45,000 cash balance for books. The bank statement did not include a deposit made in the last day of the month of 2,500. So you're going to add that in. That gets added in. That wasn't included. A collection by the bank of 1,200. There's that 1,200. So all that, and then an error in one of the checks, or a couple errors. There's two of them. There's a customer check was recorded at 540. I've made the mistake of over crediting my account by $90. So I got to deduct the 90. Okay, which is right there. That's 540 minus 450, and then the check was written for 69, but then I recorded as 96. I have to subtract out 27. Right, gets subtracted out, which is right there. Okay, and we're deducting all that. Oh, wait a second. What happened here? This is number 111. All right, it's 111. Make sure that answer. Yeah, we have 45,817 is what you had here. But that 25 didn't seem to get added in there somehow. Let's see, what would that look like if we had that? 48.3. Yeah. They offer it as a choice, but well, it says the 2,500 before reconciliation. The bank statement does not include a deposit made in the last. Okay. So the reason it's 45,817, even though this deposit was made, and I mistakenly didn't include it myself. If the bank didn't include it, you don't include it. That's why it's excluded. Yeah, because the answer is D. It's 318 or 45,817 instead of 48,317. Right? Yeah. Because if the bank doesn't include it, you don't include it. That's the logic behind that. That was an omission on my part. I just slipped and didn't include that. But the answer, the given answer, because it says the bank statement does not include. So if it doesn't include it, you don't include it either, because you're trying to match the bank is what you're trying. You're reconciling to the bank, not to the right answer. So the bank will deposit it next month. Okay, so there's this. Now this we can just delete that. Yeah, because you don't need it. Okay, and actually here with this, I can roll up here and just come to this thing. Oops, delete. Okay. Well, that's how you get 45,817, which is B. Month back end statement shows a balance of 36 outstanding checks. So yeah, if there's outstanding checks, there's deposits in transit, and then there's an error. A check was wrongly charged. So You're going to add back the 600 because it was taken out erroneously. You're going to 4,000 is inbound, then 10,000 is outbound. So that's you get 30,600. A deposit made by a company will appear on a bank statement as a credit. Okay, we talked about that early on. A bank statement lets a depositor show the financial position. It's not the bank's financial position. It's not a letter of credit. I don't want to hear that word again, but that's we're dealing with this at work. A bill from the bank for services rendered. No, it shows activity increase, decrease the depositor's account. Right, so what the bank statement does. This whole replenishing thing for 94, we have another little model sitting here. Yeah, I think this is our last model. And how this all goes is, the fund is $13 in cash, but 84 in documented expenses. So if that's $3, it should have had 87 in documented expenses. So if there's somehow it's $3 short, is what it is. Because if there's only 13 in there, and you have 84 in expenses, that should be, you should have 16, not 13. So you're $3 short. Either someone got overpaid, someone stole, okay, and that's it. So and it says draw down cash for 87 to cover the 84 and the $3 shortfall. Yeah, okay, so you got to cover the shortfall. Yes, and so that's why you're crediting cash. So for 94, that was the answer, to credit cash, right? Yeah. For 87, treasurers sign checks as an example of establishment of responsibility. Post-dated checks aren't considered cash. Only A, B, and C are. Independent internal verification is often assigned to internal auditors. The independent internal verification principle involves each of the following. So it involves comparison, reconciliation, review. Okay, but doesn't involve segregation. Okay. The control principle related to not having the same person authorize and pay for goods. So again, segregation of duties. One person for the related activities of ordering merchandise, receiving goods, and paying for them increases the potential for errors. And four, if one person handles the money, handles the goods, handles the record keeping. Right, some of the smaller schools and some of the smaller businesses don't have an army. Everybody checking everybody over their shoulder, that kind of a thing. And the last piece of this, the foreign corrupt practice, one of my favorite pieces of legislation. But it's not going to, the United States government doesn't tell people to have a foreign subsidiary. It doesn't make people have accounting records of foreign branches and the local foreign currency. There's no National Commission on Fraudulent. There's nothing like that. So it just very simply maintain an adequate control, adequate system of internal control, and that's it. Okay, so I think this was just about 15 minutes or so. So there you go. Okay, so we rolled through all these questions. So again, I'm not sending this out or anything until afterwards, but if you missed that day, there's no making this up. Okay, so that's just what that is. But please come. It's 10% of the grade. So try to get some, work on your test taking skills too. Because again, if you're going to do CFAs and CPAs and those kinds of things, you're going to have to sit for a very similar type exam as this. Okay, so get some experience with it, and especially the 252 section. Folks, really take a look at, paying attention and, just taking it seriously, because it really, it's a whole other world out there. It's a little difficult sometimes, but it's a whole other world out there. And, I hope for all of you that you have choices, in terms of careers and how you make money. And that's what I hope for everybody. Okay, so please, and any criticism was directed towards bettering you. So please don't ever take it personal. It's never meant to be personal, okay, at all. I love everybody. You're wonderful, but you needed a little direction. I'll say it in that manner. You needed it. Okay, so all right. Okay, it's 1:30. So I did this for you guys. Stayed up and did this for you guys. So you have something to go on. So you have a little video to watch on Sunday. The Yankees are going to lose again. So nothing lost there by not seeing that game. Okay. All right, folks. Study. Again, for 252. Study for Monday. We'll see you Monday. But know that you have a choice. Your exam is not going to be on May 9th for the 252s. It's going to be on the 13th or the 15th. Just whatever you come, and you got to come. And especially the people in both sections. Tell me what exam you're coming to take, because you got to take two of them. You can take them both at the same time if you want. You could do that too. But I know there's a number of people, Anna, Genesis, I think Leandis, a few people who are Ibelmus, but Ibelmus is in the the micros is a whole different thing. It's a whole different. It's not the same subject at all. Okay, but please, it's your responsibility what exam you're taking and what you're doing. That's your responsibility. So please deal with that. All right. Good luck. We'll see you Monday.